Have you ever presented perfect stats and watched your client check out? Now picture this. Instead of more charts, you share a true story. A young couple convinced they'd never afford a home. You slow the process, reframe the strategy, and they end up not just with a house, but with a neighborhood they love. Their shoulders drop, their questions change, the room warms. That shift isn't luck, it's storytelling, and it's not just persuasive, it's grounded in how the brain builds trust. Let's unpack why stories build trust faster than facts and how to use them in everyday real estate work. Here's the core issue. Data informs, stories connect. When we lead with logic alone, we activate a narrow slice of the client's mind. They may understand, but they don't feel. Stories spark emotion, memory, and openness, making people more receptive, not just more informed. In this video, you'll see the brain-based reason stories work. What makes a story truly trust-building? A simple four-step structure, the best moments to use stories, and real examples you can adapt today. Quick note, if you want the step-by-step how, with scripts, templates, and exercises, I break it down inside Roadmap to Success online courses. Here, we'll stay practical and direct so you can start today. If this video helps you, please like and subscribe. I will greatly appreciate it. Up next, what's happening in the brain during a story? Your brain is wired to prefer stories. With a story, the language centers decode words and structure, add sensory detail, and the sensory motor areas light up. When the story is relevant and empathetic, the emotion system engages and the brain releases trust-related neurochemicals that make us feel safer and more connected. Compare that with dry facts. Mainly language areas activate, less emotion, weaker memory, lower trust. Stories don't just explain reality, they simulate it so clients can experience a decision before making it. So, when do we actually trigger the brain's trust response? Trust rises when we connect with people facing real challenges. Character-driven narratives are most effective when 1. A character faces a clear challenge, 2. There's a visible vulnerability we can empathize with, 3. There's a positive resolution that releases tension, and 4. The story aligns with the listener's values. This process promotes openness, cooperation, and smoother decision-making, exactly what you want in a listing conversation, a showing, or a negotiation. Now that we understand the why, let's define what actually builds trust in a story. Not every story helps. Some backfire. A trust-building story is authentic, no fluff, relatable, the client sees themselves, emotionally grounded, not just wins, show the struggle, and client-centered, you're the guide, not the hero. Doesn't build trust. I sold it in a week and got $10,000 over asking. Builds trust. My client felt unsure about listing, so we slowed down, worked through her fears, and chose an approach aligned with her values. One flexes, the other connects. And now, here's a simple four-step structure to build these stories reliably. Use this template until it becomes second nature. 1. Context. Set the scene with specifics. A few months ago, I worked with a single mom relocating for a new job. 2. Challenge. Name the emotional and situational struggle. Tight budget, tight timeline, overwhelmed by the market. 3. Support. Show your guide role without stealing the spotlight. We paused, clarified priorities, and built short breaks to lower stress. 4. Resolution. Land both practical and emotional outcomes. She closed on a home 1 block from her daughter's new school and told me she finally felt settled. Use this structure in consultations, listing presentations, open house greetings, emails, and social posts. Keep each story 60 to 90 seconds, real enough to feel, short enough to hold attention. So, when exactly should you tell these stories? Place stories where they lower anxiety. First consultation, normalize nerves and set a calm tone. Most people feel unsure starting this. Last week, a client felt the same until we set her pace and priorities. That line says, "You're safe here." Showings. Help buyers feel themselves in the home. A client who loves gardening fell in love with this backyard. She said 15 minutes out here resets her after work. Sensory detail invites clients to imagine their routines. Now, 2 sensitive moments where stories are compelling. Use stories to ease tension around pricing and negotiation. Pricing. A couple wanted to price high, and I understood why. We walked through comps calmly. They chose a strategic range and ended up with multiple offers. This validates feelings and models a better path. Post-closing follow-up. Maintain a human touch. I check in after closing. A client sent a photo of their baby's first steps in the new kitchen. It reminded me why we do this. Stories after the sale build loyalty and referrals. Let's walk through 3 examples you can personalize immediately: short, human, and specific. 1. Buyer frustration, patience pays. After 14 homes, my client felt defeated. I said, let's pause 2 weeks. No FOMO, we'll reset. 2 weeks later, the right home surfaced. She said, I'm glad we waited. Why it works. Validates frustration, models patience, and shows you manage the process, not just the product. 2. Downsizing with emotion, meaning over square feet. A retired couple leaving the family home felt torn. We moved with intention, not speed, focused on light, windows, and routine. They chose a smaller place with big windows. Now their grandkids visit every weekend. Why it works. Honors grief and transition, highlights long-term quality of life. 3. Divorce or loss, safety first. A client buying solo after a divorce felt scared. We took it one step at a time. Later, she wrote, this house is more than a roof. It's my restart. Why it works. Vulnerability, support, and transformation equal a strong trust signal. To tell stories like these consistently, build your story inventory. That's next. Collect stories by emotional theme, not by property type. Create a simple doc with columns. Concern. I'm afraid of choosing wrong. Too many options. I don't know who to trust. I think I missed my chance. It doesn't feel like home. 4-step story. Context, challenge, support, resolution. 2 to 5 sentences total. Outcome, feeling, relieved, confident, settled, excited. Practice until they sound conversational, not memorized. Rotate fresh stories as you close. Keep each one accurate, brief, and emotionally specific. Now let's review a few pro tips that instantly lift your storytelling. Small tweaks, big results. Feelings, not just actions. Instead of saying, we closed in 2 weeks, say, she teared up at the kitchen window. It felt like childhood. Guide, not hero. It's the client's win. You reduce friction and light the path. Sensory detail. Touch, sound, light, texture. One detail makes it vivid. Something like, he ran his hand along the stone fireplace and whispered, this feels like home. Mirror the listener. Is it a reserved client? Then keep it short and concrete. Is it an expressive client? Then add warmth and color. 1 story per moment. Don't stack 3 stories at once. 1 clear, relevant story beats a bundle. Let's lock it in with a rapid practice round. Grab 1 real client in your mind and fill this out. The struggle. What were they afraid of? The shift. What helped them move forward? The feeling. What emotion did they end with? The lesson. What should a new client learn from this? Write your mini story using the 4 steps. Read it aloud. Trim filler. Add 1 sensory detail and make it sound like you. If you want downloadable templates and guided drills, they're inside Roadmap to Success online courses. Link in the description of this video. Let's wrap with 1 line that ties it all together. Your facts show what you know. Your stories show who you are. When clients remember you, they won't quote interest rates or MLS numbers. They'll remember how you made them feel and the stories they lived with you. If this was useful, please like, subscribe, and share it with another agent. For the step-by-step practice, scripts, templates, and exercises, check Roadmap to Success online courses at the link below. Roadmap to Success, online courses for real estate agents.